starting up a new brand called Retreat Fishing. I went through the Adobe Express logo maker. I did a simple layout, did a couple of edits to it so far, but I think I might redo this a little bit more. I like the icon and such, but maybe change up the color scheme a little bit and the layout as well. With Express, it's meant to be that nexus between the creative individuals and the non-creative individuals. What that means is as I start to move things around, you're going to notice contextual menus. So hey, I'm on an icon right now. Here I can change the specific color. On the flip side, when I'm in specifically text, it's bringing up things like the font, what the layout's going to look like, recommendations for different fonts if I'm not sure where to start. Basically being able to get me down the road to where I need to be. Now let me do a few edits and I'll get back to you in just a second. Okay, I made a couple edits to this. I moved the background color to just a see-through, so there's no fill. Now, one other thing I've done in here is I've obviously changed the layout of the wording. I've increased the sizes, all of that, and it can all be done very quickly and easily, both by creatives or non-creatives alike. Now, once I have this done, I'm ready to go into the next step. Now, if I needed feedback on this specific logo, or it could be any sort of asset I'm making, I can actually share it out to other individuals. So you can see I've already actually shared this out to someone. Oh, and it looks like they've actually come in to co-edit at the same time. So while I'm on my screen, I can watch them as they're making the specific edits. Okay, looks good. I'm ready to go, and I have the updated edits, but we could go back and forth further, or even potentially leave comments as well. By going right up here. Oh, and it looks like they just left a comment. They're saying it looks good now as well. Okay, so this is looking good. We can close up the comments. Now, if I wanted to, I can download a copy of this right now to my local device. And you can also see it suggesting other options potentially to do next, such as an Instagram Square post. Now, before I leave this logo creation area, I actually want to set up a brand. So I'm going to go over here to the brand section, and there's lots of different ways to get to the same set of menus and the same sort of options all throughout Express. In this case, since I'm already editing the specific logo, I can create the brand from here. So I'm going to come here, click the shield with the plus sign to create a brand. I'm going to type in the name of the brand, and I'll create it. Once I've created the brand, you'll see it pop up over here on the left-hand side. And now at this point, I can do a couple of things. One is I can add colors. And there's a couple different ways to do this. One is if I already know which specific colors I want, I can grab them as an example from recommended, from more colors, go into the custom area to do the sliders, potentially put in a key for hex or the RGB. In this case, I'm not really sure what they were, they just look good. So I'm gonna hit the little eyedropper and I can actually pull them in directly from what's ever on the screen. And this doesn't have to necessarily be the Express window. It could be from anywhere on your computer screen that you're able to grab it from. Okay, so I've added a few colors to this color palette. So now I'm gonna hit add, and now they're attached to my specific brand. Now anywhere I'm at within the Adobe Express, it's gonna be able to pull from this specific brand and these specific colors. So as an example, if I go to background color, you can see my Retreat Fishing brand is up, and you can see the colors listed across. Now separately, before I leave, as I said, there's a few different ways to add things to brands. I want to go over to my text. Now within my text, I'm not really sure what this text specifically is called. So we're able to actually use the drop down. We can see what's in use, and I can actually add that to my brand as well. So I'll add the first one, I'll add the second one as well. Once those are added, from now on, anything I'm adding or editing, any sort of asset, I'll be able to pull from this specific list of both the colors as well as the fonts that I've used today. Okay, so now I'm ready to move forward. I do want to add this logo into my brand as well. So I'm gonna go to a separate location just to show you another way to get things into your brands. So on the main homepage for Adobe Express, I can go into my brand section. I can go to my brand, and at this point, I'm able to add into logos. So I'll go up here to click add, I'll click logo, and once I've went through that, I'm able to add the logo in, and you can see it pop up. So now you can see my logos, my colors, and my fonts. So you can see I've added an asset to this as well. So now we start to build out the brand more and more. Now the benefit to the brand is it's a central repository for not only my logos, but my official colors, my approved fonts, my approved templates and assets. Although I did say templates, I haven't shown you that step yet. So let me do that right now. I'm back here at the main homepage for Adobe Express. At this point, I have a couple of different options. One is I could use templates that I've already used in the past. templates that potentially somebody else has created, templates that the Adobe Express system shows to me as well as far as searches, or my personal favorite, I can actually generate it with a prompt. So let me do that right now. So I go into generate with AI, generate the template, and now at this point I can prompt it exactly what I'm looking for as an output. Okay, at this point I've generated a couple of different options. I did do a couple updates though. One, I chose a Facebook post as opposed to just the poster or flyer. There are a couple of different options that I have though. I put in my prompt. Basically, it's a free day of fishing when you buy a new fishing pole. And I also put in a hero asset that I wanted to be worked into the template itself, and you can see that throughout. Now, if I wanted to, I could always re-prompt this. I could generate additional results, or I can see variations of one that's already in it. That's fairly close, but maybe I want a couple of tweaks and see what the system has to offer. At this point, this one looks pretty good to me though. So I'm gonna grab this one and start using this to mock it up. You can see this template's come in. It has all the different assets are broken out. I still can make edits to everything that I want. So what I want to do first is actually go to my brands and bring in my brand logo. So I can do that now. So I brought in my brand logo. I'm just gonna resize it down into the corner. And it is getting washed out a little bit, so I could put it up here in the right-hand corner. Additionally, if I wanted to, I could come down here to elements, could put in a background to it, and then make it so that it's a little bit more poppy in the corner as well. Let me do that right now. Okay, I've added that down in the corner at this point. It's looking pretty good. If I needed to add some additional details, I could still do that. I could make whatever edits I want. But again, I could come up here, I could do share it to somebody. We could start going back and forth on if this is looking good and if we're ready to schedule it for social. Once we are ready to schedule it for social, I can come up here to share. I can go down to share to social. Now I haven't set up my specific Facebook account tied to this Adobe account yet, but I could do that really quickly right now. At which point I can put in the captions. I can ask for its help to generate something that's catchy. And then I can schedule it for a future date, or I can publish it right now. Once that's done, the system will take the rest and it'll go out. Now, if I'm not ready to send this to social yet, because it's something for a future project or potentially something I'm gonna reuse, that's where I'm gonna create it into a template. So again, I'm gonna come in here to share. This time, instead, I'm gonna do make a template. And one thing I'm thinking of is I actually do wanna use these locks and restrictions. So I don't want people to be able to move too much around, if anything at all. So I can come back in here. I can select things on the right hand side, or I can just drag and drop, grab everything. I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna lock it. And then I can say if things like images can be replaced, if text can be replaced. I am gonna allow them to replace the text actually on both of them. Now if I wanted to do it to just one or the other, I could come in and individually select them as well. But for purposes, we'll kind of keep this moving along. So that's gonna be locked down moving forward. Go back to share. I'm gonna make that template. Okay, I've named the template. It is assigned to Retreat Fishing because it is the last brand I used. I can go down, I could put a couple of notes on this if I really wanted to, like what it's supposed to be used for, who can edit it, anything like that. But all I'm gonna do is go into these locks and restrictions. Again, I did lock down pretty much everything. So I do wanna enable those to make sure that nobody can kind of move too much around. And when I am specifying this as well, it's going to say, hey, it's coming from this specific location as far as a brand for the palette of colors, as well as the fonts. Additionally, you're going to notice as far as restrictions go, I can make it so that users can still unlock it if they really want. I don't really want that though. I actually don't want the users to be able to change it at all. So at this point, I'm going to save the restrictions. And now I'm ready to go. I can save the template. In the background, this is going to be working. You can see that down here. But I don't need to stick at this screen. It'll pop up once it's finally done. And we can see it's actually popped up and it's giving me a link. So it should be dropping into this brand here in just a second. Once I refresh my page, you're gonna notice that the template is loaded in. And if I were to click on it, it's coming up and it's saying, yep, it's in this location. This is who the author was. There's a direct link to it and I could start a new file off of this. If I started a new file, it would have those locks and restrictions in place, but I'd be able to use it for future posts that go out to social. So this is me creating the Retreat Fishing brand within Adobe Express. The key value to the brand aspect is going to be the control. The ability for me to put the logos and the colors on one central location to control aspects of it, but then also make sure that if people are coming in trying to create on-brand content, they know exactly where to go. There's no searching around on SharePoint or through emails for the latest logo or the latest update to the color palettes or which fonts are being used at the current time. Additionally, all the templates are going to be located in one spot. Thanks for following along today as we created the Retreat Fishing brand within Adobe Express. You'll notice that customers are going to find this extremely useful for centralizing their assets and staying on brand.